Yeah. Okay. Okay, so good evening to all members, those that are returning and those that are new to the chamber. It's really exciting to see so many new faces and looking forward to working with you all over the next 4 years. We normally start full council meetings. Well, sometimes they make everyone stand as I walk in the room, which is a bit pretentious, but is often how some of these things start. And often we are blessed with the Mayor's chaplain, who is this year, though I haven't asked her, but I'm sure she'll say yes, the Reverend Claire Anderson. Who is exceptional and is very much aware that I'm not religious and gives some really uplifting and poignant speeches at the beginning of our meetings. She won't be here this evening, but in future meetings you can expect to see her. We're not planning a fire drill this evening, though fire exits are over here on the left, or the way that you came in down the stairwell. Toilets are just out in the main hall here. If you need to go, please just excuse yourself and pop out. And with that, let's get started for the full council meeting on Wednesday, the 14th of May 2025, the first of the new term. So, in a slightly odd way, item number 1 on the agenda is the election of the Mayor for 2025-26, and I appear to be the only person that put myself down for this. So I'll take nominations for Mayor for 2025-26. I believe Councillor Slade had a nomination.
I'm glad to nominate you as Mayor. That's true.
Thank you, Councillor Slade. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Wright. Would you like to speak, Councillor Wright? You don't have to say anything horrible about me.
I would like to second Councillor Creek for Mayor for the coming year.
Thank you. All in favour, I guess? Hands up if you're in favour. Any objections? I'm quite happy for objections or abstentions, in fact. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Can I take a moment to just say a few words?
Yes, but you also need to sign it.
Thank you very much, Andy. You think I'd know it was the 14th, really, wouldn't you? I've just said it. There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. So thank you all. And though I was Mayor in the last year, there were a number of items that we failed to get completed in the year for a number of reasons that I won't bore you with now and probably shouldn't talk about in public session. But I'm really excited to get these finished over the coming year, namely the youth centre, getting that over the line for the children of Newquay, the new play park at Mount Wise, which we have got fully funded and we will break ground on this year, and as well as other projects as well. But I wanted to start by saying, as your Mayor, I'm honoured to serve our community here in Newquay. Our corporate plan, as I said earlier, sets out bold goals, but achieving them is going to require all of us, residents, businesses and councillors, to work together regardless of party lines. Newquay's challenges are too important for division. Our priorities as set out in the corporate plan include a greener Newquay, cutting plastics, plant trees, protect our beaches, homes and infrastructure, fighting for affordable housing and better transport, youth and opportunity, and this is one that's really a passion of mine, and I know Councillor Wright and Councillor Thompson's as well, delivering for the youth of Newquay with our new youth hub, upgraded place spaces, thriving high street, which is something that we all want to see, backing our local businesses and working with Cornwall Council around business rates. Community First is at the heart of everything that we do here in Newquay Town Council, and listening and celebrating our heritage as well as keeping our public spaces clean. Now, progress, as I said earlier, isn't going to happen if we let politics block common sense. So I urge every councillor in the chamber to focus on results, not rhetoric, debate ideas, not personalities, and put Newquay's needs above party agendas. Together, and this is slightly cheesy, we'll build a town we're all proud to call home, and I look forward to working with you all over the coming 4-year term. Thank you. So it's like that's a bit much for me, isn't it, to take all that time to talk about that. But item number 2 on the agenda is the election of deputy mayor for the civic year 2025-26. Now, I'm really happy to be able to propose Councillor Sarah Thompson, and I will take a second just to tell you why. Councillor Thompson joined Newquay Town Council 3 years ago now, I think, and has been quite quietly squirreling away at a number of projects over the last 3 years, but has made huge strides forward including working with Councillor Wright on the youth centre, which will be coming on stream this year, as I said. Priory Woods, which is a woodland that we, as the town council, own on the far side of St Column Minor. Councillor Thompson was, and I'm going to, despite what some said, was wholly responsible for the significant amount of trees that were recently planted on Glamis Road, around Chester Road, and Hillgrove Road, wasn't it? And even I remember, because I took the pictures. You were there with the shovel and the wheelbarrow, and I was there with the camera, which felt wholly appropriate. But Councillor Thompson's been a really hard and dedicated worker for this town over the last 3 years, and so it's my absolute pleasure to nominate her as deputy mayor for the forthcoming civic year. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Brooke.
I'm very happy to second Councillor Thompson for the role of deputy mayor. And I had a speech prepared, but you've ruined it.
Oh, sorry. Please, no.
No. I'm joking. It's all covered. So
Okay.
With that, I will.
Good stuff. Okay. So proposing second. All in favour of Councillor Thompson being deputy mayor for 2025-26. Thank you very much, everyone. I think that was unanimous. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Yes. Yeah, come and sit at the front here. Okie doke. You've got to sign your life away now.
Andy comes creeping along and signing everything.
There we go. Congratulations. Okay.
It's lofty up there.
Isn't it? Get a nosebleed up here. Item number 3 on the agenda are apologies. Do we have any apologies, Andy, from our members?
Good evening, members. We have apologies from councillors Adlam, Williamson, Kenny and North.
Many thanks. Okay, so interests. If you have or you feel you have a pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest in an item on the agenda, what we tend to do is take those as and when they become appropriate on that item on the agenda. This will all be covered in great detail in your code of conduct training if you're new to the council, and then of course if you're returning to the council you still have to do the code of conduct training. I'll take it as no interest thus far. So we go on to item 5, which is minutes, and the minutes of the last full council meeting, which was on the 5th of March this year. And I trust that everyone's had an opportunity to read through those minutes, returning members that were there, and for new members, we are just looking for the accuracy of those minutes, that they represented the conversation that was had at the time. I'm quite happy with them, so I'm quite happy to propose those. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Slade. Any questions before I go to the vote? No. All in favour of those? Thank you. And any objections or abstentions? Thank you. Were there any matters arising from those minutes? Anyone wanted to raise anything on those minutes from the 5th of March? I couldn't see anything. We'll move on then. Item 6, item 7 even, committee minutes and reports. So this is going over the minutes of committees and subcommittees that have been held since the previous full council meeting. So we start with the HR subcommittee, should read subcommittee, minutes from the 19th of March 2025, given that there is no one here from that meeting, shall I? Just for noting, I'm happy to propose those. We have a seconder, Councillor Thompson. All in favour? Many thanks. Any objections or abstentions? No, thank you. So we go on then to the minutes from G&R, which is Governance and Resources, which is the committee which houses all of the chairs and vice chairs of the various committees on the Town Council. And this is the meeting from the 12th of March. I'm happy to propose those. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Thompson, all in favour? Many thank yous. We have a couple of recommendations from that, and those were releases from the Community Infrastructure Levy Earmarked Reserve, which is what CIL EMR stands for. First one is proposed to release £2,501. That's an odd number, isn't it? And this is for... What is it for, Andy? I'm looking and I'm not seeing. GR 1125. Works to our South Fistral play area at the end of Pentyre there. So I'm happy to propose those. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Morris, all in favour? Thank you very much. And then we've got a second recommendation, which is a further CIL, so Community Infrastructure Levy, EMR, release. And that is for the play park at Mount Wise. And that is essentially because we needed to spend some of our CIL. Otherwise, we would lose it. This is the amount of money that we get from Cornwall Council that they collect from developments in the county, and specifically here in Newquay, we get a proportion of those. But if we don't spend them within an amount of time, is it 4 years? I think it's 4 years. We'll say 4 years. Then it can be clawed back. And whilst we had some money given to us by Boardmasters for our new play park, which I alluded to earlier, we felt by releasing this, we could use the money we hadn't spent and potentially was going to lose, and then that money from Boardmasters can be used elsewhere if necessary. So I'm happy to propose that, as it's my project. Councillor Morris is happy to second, and can I have all in favour, please? Thank you very much. Sorry? Oh, thank you very much. Good. So then we're going to G&R minutes of the 28th of April 2025. Again, happy to propose those as I was present. Do I have a seconder from that meeting? Councillor Thompson. All in favour? Thank you. And if you've got any questions on any of these minutes, by all means shout. Councillor Brooke.
Can we just call out the abstentions and the objections?
Oh, yes, apologies,
as
yes.
we go through as well, just to be sure.
Yeah, abstentions or objections for that, the minutes for the 28th of April, no? Thank you. 7C, which is the minutes of the Environment and Facilities Committee held on the 11th of March. I'm happy to propose those. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Slade, all in favour? Many thank yous. These are just all for noting. Got the Community and Tourism meeting of the 20th of March. Happy to, Councillor.
I have a question.
Please ask your question.
Something that was raised in minutes, and if it's okay to ask about this. So during that meeting, Councillor Creek asked whether it would be possible to allocate the £3,000 underspend from the C&T budget, and if we could use it towards the Empowering Newquay's Future project. The Deputy Town Clerk said he wasn't sure and he was going to pass it to the RFO for advice, and I'm just wondering if that message got to you, Anne, and what the outcome of that would be.
Yeah, sure. He did come to me and I did speak to him. The view was that any funding can be earmarked, put into an EMR for future council's use. However, it would probably be more appropriate for it to be not allocated to an individual group initially. Most of the funds and grants that are given out from the council go through fair process and due process. So it was a case of more information required around what was happening, whether it was a partnership agreement, what was happening in terms of, you know, that initial request, because it would, depending on whether it was something they had asked for or a joint venture. So depending on the detail, it might be appropriate for it to go into the grant funding pot for it to be allocated by the committee, so them to put in their request.
Yeah, okay. So that would be after the fact, because the actual event is on Friday, isn't it? Okay, right. Sure, okay. That's fine. So, best place to pick that up, ENF? C&T, sorry, C&T, yeah. Okay. Let's pick that up in C&T and we can put that into the, factor that into the grant pot. So, did you want to propose those meetings?
I'm happy to propose those minutes.
Thank you. And a seconder for the C&T minutes, Councillor Motta. All in favour? Many thanks. So you can abstain. Yeah, no, absolutely. It would. That's fine. We shall take it that all of the minutes you'll abstain on the basis that you're new, and that's quite right. No problem at all. Happy with that?
Yeah, that's fine. But for clarity, for the minutes, the members here are noting them. So most members here wouldn't have been at that meeting anyway. Okay. So it's just noting them. So it's just an action of noting. The full council minutes before would have been for accuracy. That is one where you quite rightly would have said, no, I wasn't there. I can't say they're accurate. But you can, if you wish, say yes to noting. But if you wish to abstain, that's absolutely fine.
Good. Okie dokie. And I will. Did you want to take the planning ones on mass, since you were the deputy chair of planning?
Yeah, I'm happy to propose the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of planning minutes. We've gone through for an age. Seconder? Yeah, brilliant. Everyone voting on those then?
Thank you. Any abstentions? We'll take Councillor Jacobs' abstention. Any other abstentions or objections? No? Thank you very much. Lovely. Super. Thank you. So we move on to item 8, which is the open session for the electors of Newquay. And this is an opportunity for residents of Newquay to offer verbal input to our meetings or written questions. I see 2 members of our community in the gallery who happen to be officers, but are of course welcome to ask a question of the council on anything on the agenda should they wish to. No, okay, fair enough. Okay, thank you. Did we have any written questions? No, we didn't. Perfect. So then we move on. Item number 9, which is the annual review of the council's governance, delegation arrangements and committee structures. We start with item 9, the scheme of delegation. Did you want to talk through this one, Andy?
I can do. So a lot of these policies and procedures, and they should say on the agenda, no changes. They're currently existing policies. We're just re-adopting them. This is a process we have to do once a year, so apologies every year. We only have to do this once. For the scheme of delegation, there's not many changes, if any, at all, I don't think, going through them. There will need to be some changes once we've adopted the KPIs later in this agenda. And the objective setting may change who's responsible for what, but for the moment I'm suggesting that these are re-adopted as they are, and these can be looked at during the year. So it's not like now and that's it, they will be looked at during the year.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks, Andy. And as Andy said, and this is the same with, I think, all of the terms of reference and policies that we'll be adopting this evening. These are policies that were previously adopted by the council. We need to do them every year. Whilst we might vote them on them this evening, we could change them at the next meeting next month, should there be a need or a desire to. So this is not set in stone, as it were. This is just something that we have to do once a year. So I'm happy to propose the scheme of delegation. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Thompson. All in favour? Brilliant, thank you. 9B, this is a draft schedule for the civic year 2025-26, and this sets out all of the meetings that this authority will have over the next 12 months. So have a look at those. Now, every year we go through this process, and every year someone complains about the dates of the committee meetings. So I'm going to say this now. If anyone has any issues with anything on this agenda, on this calendar, please can you let me know now, because we can change it now. We can't change it tomorrow. Councillor Morris.
Is there, right, I can't sit on here. Is there a full council the first week in August? Because that's the busiest week for anyone in tourism.
I think what Andy will say is we have one penciled in, but it's a reserve meeting. Is that right? Yeah, so we may not hold it, but given that we have conducted almost no business, though the officers have been working hard clearly over the last 2 months, there may be items, you know, of backlog that we might need to deal with in the next couple of months. So it's worth us having these reserve meetings in place should we need to deal with anything, because if we don't, actually after July 2nd, your next opportunity to have any input is October. And that's past the summer season, so it's worth having it in the calendar as a reserve, and then we can stand it down. Agree? Yeah.
Why can't we have it in September instead?
Please.
September is during the budget setting, and from past experience for the last 3 years, we've cancelled or tried to cancel the full council meeting because there's been so much work involved in the committees wishing more work on the budgets. We haven't been able to have the full council meeting because we just haven't had the time to do that. So what we've suggested is a number of these meetings, instead of having them set, which is what we've done in the past, and then had them in quorate or had issues with them, we would have them as reserve dates and only call them if we absolutely needed to, if there was a decision to be made. So it would depend if something urgent's come up for the August meeting to go ahead. The September one is going to be right smack bang in the budget setting, so we felt it wasn't appropriate to have a reserve date then. There's also a decision later on this agenda, which is another reason why there isn't a date in the diary for the September meeting, which I can't talk about in open session. So I think the suggestion is not to have one scheduled for September, although you can call one still. Doesn't stop you calling one, but you won't have a scheduled one.
Hopefully that answers your question, Councillor Morris. Just a quick one I've just noticed, only because it's the day that I come back from holiday, but the 3rd of September is planning and licensing. That's a Wednesday, not a Tuesday. Is that right? Oh, is it? Okay, fair enough. Is it Wednesday? Okay, fair enough. No, I thought I'd double check. Councillor Jacobs.
Yeah, this is dates. Is there anything around timings, and what do we have by way of kind of family-friendly timings for meetings? Is there a set time for it?
6 or 7.
Sure. So all meetings of full council, environment facilities, governance and resource, community and tourism start at 7 p.m. Planning and licensing starts at 6 p.m. And that tends to allow for the fact that planning and licensing tends to go over to 3 hours very regularly. So, so to try and give that a more comfortable end time, though all meetings are normally maximum of 2 hours. There is an additional hour that you can tag on the end should you need to transact the business of the day. But generally speaking, 7 till 9 for most committees. Is that okay? Are we okay with that? This is how it's always been since I've been here. My understanding is previously meetings were sometimes held in the daytime, and that wasn't commensurate with those that had day jobs. And of course, we are all volunteers here, and so most of us will have day jobs. But you know, obviously, if you would like to explore changing any of that in the near future, then you know we can certainly work through that. Okay. Any other questions on dates before we go on? And I remind you, once this is done, Councillor Wright, you're happy. You got your Tuesdays back. You're happy. Okay, so Tuesdays tends to be C&T, Thursday E&F, Wednesday planning and licensing, full council on a Wednesday, and GNR tends to be on a Monday. Councillor Thompson.
We haven't got a full council in November, is that right? Yeah. You're not going to put it in as a reserve?
No, so it was felt because we've cancelled those meetings so often, it's better to not have dates. We will call them if we need to, but sometimes we get last minute announcements from Cornwall Council which relate to budget, and we might need emergency meetings to start talking around, do we change budgets?
Okay.
It should also be noted that this year we have changed slightly. We will move on a minute. I'm just giving everyone the last opportunity to say anything on this calendar because I'm, absolutely aware that someone will come to me tomorrow and moan. That we have changed to monthly committee meetings to some reserve meetings, and that's just to allow officers more time to be able to, to operationalise the strategic direction set in those meetings. But those meetings are in reserve should we need them. Anyway, I'm going to propose the calendar. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Wright, thank you very much. You're going to remember that. All in favour? Thank you. Councillor Morris, was that a hand up? Okay, thank you. You begrudgingly voted for it. Right, okay, that was a hold your nose yes, was it? Okay. 9C, and these are the committee structure and associated terms of reference and objective mapping, and I'm sure that you've gone through these with a fine-tooth comb, and there are many of them. I'm going to take them on bulk, so that is everything within the section of 9C. I'm going to propose those. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Slade, brave.
Oh, no. Sorry. The planning and licensing one.
We've already done it. Oh, yeah, sorry, that one there, yeah.
Is that the interim one in there, Andy? Because we were going to change it to have...
So the next one's the interim arrangement.
The next one's... Oh, yes, interims, right, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Fine.
So I propose, Councillor Slade seconded, Councillor Morris.
Question I want to ask. We had a funny one on planning last year where we had 3 reserves. Do we need 3 reserves this year?
Let's pick that up at committee structure in the future. So proposed second, all in favour? Many thanks. Any objections or abstentions? No, I think that was everyone. 9D, planning and licensing interim arrangements, and this is to give delegated authority to the planning and licensing administrator, sat in the gallery, along with the mayor, oh good, deputy mayor and any other member to subject to consultee responses on any planning and licensing applications and consultations received that cannot be extended to after the first scheduled meeting of the Planning and Licensing Committee. Sarah, Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, I was hoping we could change that so we free the mayor to more the experienced people from planning. And yeah. Oh, we had named members. So. It was myself, Councillor Kenny, Councillor Brooke.
Nick Morris is waving his finger.
He is waving his finger at me.
Councillor Morris, can I help you?
Yeah, I was willing to volunteer because of
I
course
see.
I'm going to go on planning. Yeah.
Okay. So then may I suggest then that we relieve the mayor of that particular responsibility, as much as I'd love to spend time with you, Duncan. I know I don't get to spend as enough time as I do with you.
Did
With-
you want Councillor Carter on?
No, but we're not creating a committee here. We're just creating.
No, I know we're not. But Councillor Carter has experience in planning. We thought it might be a good interim for him to get back in the
Well,
swing of it.
should we just keep it small to start with? 4, yeah. So then let's say I would suggest the planning and licence administrator, along with the deputy mayor, Councillor Morris, Councillor Kenny, and if you're happy, Councillor Carter, to be on the interim arrangements for planning, that's fine. Then that is the form, right? Councillor Brooke as well. Okay, we've now got 5.
Councillor Brooke, yeah, 5. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, that's fine. So I'm happy to. No. It's just the interim arrangements, just the interim, yeah. So I'm happy to propose that. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Morris. All in favour? Thank you very much. Any objections or abstentions? Councillor Jacobs, are you all right over there? You deep in one of the policies. So that passes. 9E is the review and adoption of the appropriate standing orders, financial regs, and code of conduct. Do you want to say anything on any of these?
All I would say is any changes are highlighted and they've got track changes. The standing orders and financial regulations tend to be model document changes that we've received from the National Association of Local Councils. For the standing orders in particular, references to certain committees have changed, particularly around the handling of staffing matters. That now governance and resources, not the human resources subcommittee. So those are the predominant changes for that. I can go through them one by one, but they are literally highlighted. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer any.
Lots of removals of chairman to chair. I quite like that. That's very good. Okie doke. So any questions on the standing orders before we go for the... I'll propose those then. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wright, all in favour? Thank you very much. These are really useful document for the new councillors to it's one of the very boring things I did in my early days is had a printed set of these to keep scouring back to and often still do, because particularly around points of order and bits and pieces, if you raise a point of order, you should be able to quote the line in the standing orders that point of order is in reference to. So useful to get to know that document inside out, though it is a lengthy document. I'd really love to shorten it if we can. Councillor Jacobs.
Yeah, it was just a question on the standing orders. They can be, what's that about, can they be shortened? That it doesn't have to wait till the annual general meeting next year for any changes to standing orders to be made.
Absolutely right. We can change them tomorrow, well, at the next meeting. Yeah. Brilliant. So 9E2, which is the to receive and adopt the financial regulations. Anne, did you want to say anything on these?
No, again, all of the changes are included in there. There's a couple of different legislation bits that have updated. The only change that I've made, which is slightly, really, really tiny, is I've up the petty cash spend from £15 to £25. So it's very, very major.
Yeah, well, yeah. Cost of milk, eh? I mean, okay, fair enough. So I'm happy to propose those. We have a seconder. Councillor Brooke, all in favour? Thank you very much. 9E, to receive and re-adopt the existing members' model code of conduct. Hopefully you've all had a good read of this and understand the 7 Nolan principles. You will have some full and thorough training on this. I think we really need to make sure that this council, there was lots and lots of code of conduct complaints over the last few years. Still waiting for my apology, guys. But what's really important is, is that we adhere to this code of conduct and make sure that, the business that we transact in this room, is done with the best intention and, in a nice and friendly way, and not in a aggressive and hostile way, which is potentially something that we've experienced before. So have a look at that. If you've got any questions, ask the clerk, do attend those sessions, and I will happily adopt that code of conduct policy. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Brooke, all in favour? Thank you very much. Okay, 9F, review of arrangements, including legal agreements, with other local authorities, not-for-profit bodies and businesses, of which there is a extensive list in front of you. This is just for noting. Any questions before we go to... There's a lot on there. Did you want to say anything?
All I would say is that on the next couple of items, if there's anything specific that a member wishes to see, subject to the need-to-know principles, happy to share that if you come into the office outside the meeting. So if you wanted to see a particular contract, subject to the confidentiality clauses that we may have signed up to, more than happy to share those with members and answer any questions.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm happy to propose. Seconder, Councillor Slade. All in favour? Thank you very much. 9G, which is the review of inventory and land and other assets, including building and office equipment. It's a lengthy list. If you've got any questions, please direct those to the office. Happy to propose. Seconder, Councillor Slade. All in favour? Thank you. Confirmation of arrangements 9H for insurance cover in respect of all insurable risks. I'll take these en bulk. Did you want to say anything about them before I do?
Obviously, there is a front page that basically sets out who our main brokers are, our main policies, particularly the vehicles policy and our cyber essentials policies. We believe that we've covered every risk that the council has asked us to cover, and so we were happy to recommend them to council.
Very good. Happy to propose all of those items under 9H. Councillor Morris, you happy to second? All in favour? Thank you. Are you right there, Laura? Good. 9I, review of the council's subscriptions to other bodies. Again, just for noting and information. And if you've got any, sort of questions around assurance on any of these things, redirect them to the office. Happy to propose. Have a seconder. Councillor Brooke, all in favour? Thank you. How are the arms? Are they holding up yet? Are they all right? 9J, review of the council's complaints procedure. That is the persistent or vexatious complaints policy. Brilliant word, that. As well as the general complaints procedure. We'll take those in block. Are happy to propose those. Councillor Morris wishes to second. All in favour? All in favour? Thank you. 9K, which is the review of the council's policies, procedures, practices in respect of its obligations under the Freedom of Information and Data Protection legislation. I'm happy to propose. Do you have any? You don't want to say anything on that? No. Happy to propose. Second, Councillor Wright. All in favour? Thank you. 9L, review of the council's policy for dealing with press and media. Good evening to the media if they're listening. I know Warren said he was going to. Hi, Warren. Happy to propose. Have a seconder. Councillor Wright, all in favour? Thank you. 9M, getting through the alphabet. Review of the council's employment policies and procedures. Harriet, did you want to say anything on any of these? You did, okay. Microphone, please. That's right.
So there's 3 that's since been updated. That's the staff handbook. I'm just trying to find it. Sorry. Travel and and the bullying harassment policy, just based off legislation that's just recently come out. So they will be updated in the next meeting.
Brilliant, thank you. Happy to take all those on block under 9M. I'll propose. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Morris, all in favour? Thank you. 9N, review of the council's risk management policies, strategic risk assessments and disaster recovery and business continuity plans. I will take all of those on block. Does anyone wish to speak on those?
All I would say, nothing has changed, so they're existing policies and they are subject to a review that's going to happen this year based on some of the service changes that we're looking at.
Got it. Perfect. Again, happy to propose. I have a seconder. Sorry.
On review, are they coming back for scrutiny by the full council? Yeah.
Yes, so depending on which documents we refer to, most of them will be governance and resources, then full council. But full council is the one that signs these off. I'm just conscious that some of the risk assessments may have changed. We did do it last time at the budget setting, so some of them have moved further forward since then.
So as you change them, you will then feed them into GNR? Yeah, okay.
Good, thank you very much. So happy to propose. Seconder, Councillor Brooke, all in favour? Thank you very much. Item 9O, review of the council's environmental policy and climate strategy. Okay. No. Does it need updating? Probably needs updating. Okay. Okay, so I'm happy to propose that. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Slade. All in favour? Councillor Jacobs. Jesse, you all right over there?
Is this one that we can adopt a change of
100%, and happy to review and change at the very next Environment and Facilities meeting. Yeah. No, it definitely needs updating. Yeah, you're quite right. Cool. Brilliant. Oh, abstention. You're abstaining? The environment policy, okay. 9P, review of the council's expenditure incurred under section 137 of the Local Government Act of the general power of competence, which we remain to have. Is that? Oh, okay. Don't preempt it, Drew. You can explain.
Okay, so the council has certain powers to spend money. The section 137 refers to the Local Government Act. There's a line in there around flexibility to spend money depending on how many members of the populace. There's a per capita amount that you are given each year that you can spend. You don't have to do that if you have the general power of competence, because the general power of competence lets you do anything an individual can do unless there's a law that says you can't. So it's very open, it's very broad. We adopted that power, so everything we've done in the last 4 years is using the power of general competence. So there's a statement here that basically says we haven't used section 137 because we haven't needed to. We've used general power of competence, and that's effectively what you're noting tonight. So yes, so it's done. This particular item is done as of last year's spend. So all of last year's spend, because you need to note everything you've spent under section 137, and you haven't.
Perfect, thank you, Andy. I'm glad you explained that because you'd have done it better than I did. So I'm happy to propose. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Jacobs, all in favour? Thank you. Any objections or abstentions? No. Good. Review of the council's annual investment strategy. And I get the sense this is something that will probably come up in GNR in the very near future, given everything that's going on in the world. I am happy to propose this. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Thompson. All in favour? Thank you. Brilliant. Here we are, power of competence. So to consider and resolve the following, Newtown Council declares that it meets the conditions prescribed in Article 2, Paragraph 2 of the Parish Council's General Power of Competence Prescribed Conditions Order 2012, and hereby resolves to adopt the General Power of Competence as provided in the Localism Act 2011. This declaration has effect until the Council's annual meeting in 2029. Happy to propose that. Have a seconder? Councillor Morris, all in favour? And that's brilliant news. And for those that aren't aware, to be able to have general power of competence, you need to have a very qualified clerk, which we have, and 2/3 of your councillors filling seats by election, whether that be contested or uncontested, which we did in fact have. And there are councils in Cornwall that I'm aware of that did not meet that criteria and are now going through the pitfalls of section 137. So well done everyone for standing, because it made a difference, and well done Andy for being you. Good. Sorry, that sounded slightly sarcastic. It genuinely wasn't intended to be. I'm enjoying this evening. This is good fun. It feels very jovial. Right, where I've lost my place now. Correspondence, item 10. We don't have any correspondence? No. So item 11, co-option of vacancies. Despite the wonderful work by us all, putting ourselves forward for Town Council, there are, or were and are, still 3 vacancies on the Town Council, which will be decided by co-option. The application for co-option, which is exactly the same as the paperwork you would have filled out to become a councillor, is available from the Town Council website, and anyone that you are aware of that wishes to submit an application for co-option should do so by 27th of May, 9 a.m. They will then be considered at the next full council meeting on Wednesday the 4th of June, and the process for co-option is that, if I remember it rightly, and it's been a few years, that we invite each member who has put themselves forward for co-option to say a minute or two's worth about themselves. Once we have done that with all applicants, as a council, we will then decide to vote on who, if there's more than the number required. So if we've got 3 seats and there's 4, we'll have to take a vote on who takes those seats. And I think that's the process, isn't it? Yeah, good memory. We are aware that, am I allowed to talk about the... Yeah, we are aware that one person who did in fact get a seat at Newquay Town Council has since decided to resign from that seat. So there will be a further 4th seat available, though because the seat was allocated, though it wasn't taken, we have to go back through the protocol of putting it out to 10 signatures from the local population if they want an election. Otherwise, it goes to co-option. Election obviously means, which is a shame because we've obviously had the elections and money has been spent on the elections. Elections mean obviously the town council would foot the bill of any election that was to take place. Not that I'm suggesting that that shouldn't happen, because of course that is democratic. Sorry, yes. So with the resignation, because the seat was allocated to someone because they applied, it's not the same as the unfilled seats. So what happens is it goes back to square one effectively, which means that Cornwall Council put it out as a notice of vacancy, and at that point you have 2-3 weeks, something like that, 2-3 weeks. For members of the public to then put 10 signatures on a piece of paper, submit it to Cornwall Council and say, I want an election in this ward. If that's the case, then that goes out to, in the same process as we've just been through, anyone that wants to put themselves forward for election, it goes to election, Newquay Town Council foots the bill of that, and from memory it's about £8,000 per. Yeah. If 10 signatures aren't received by the date on the notice, then it automatically goes to co-option, but that co-option won't take place until at least August, if that is the case. Well, we haven't got one in September, have we? So it'd be October, so August or October. So that's the process for anyone that has any questions. Councillor Slade.
Just for clarity, the 10 signatures have to be 10 registered electors from that ward that's been
correct.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we have 4 vacancies to fill, and we will fill them over the coming months. And I know that we've been advertising it on the radio. Really pleased to see that as well. So that's great. So are we on item 12 already? Might even get to 8:30, Laura. You never know. Item 12, Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960. So this is where we now move into exempt business. Members of the public and press and the online stream are turned off, excluded, because the nature of the business to be transacted is sensitive and confidential. So, to resolve that pursuant to section 1(2) of Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, public and press to leave the meeting because of the confidential nature of the business to be transacted. That's pretty much what I just said. I'm happy to propose to have a seconder. Councillor Slade, all in favour? Thank you very much. And we are in item 12. Thank you, Duncan and Sue, for coming along and saying